That's how I feel after reading through the comments section sometimes. Ooh. Hey there folks, how you doing today? Welcome back to the farm. Please bear with the background racket that you're going to hear throughout this production. We're on location where life happens, and sometimes there's stuff going on right out there that interferes with what we're trying to do in here. Also, I've got a fan going in the corner. It's real hot out here today, folks. I just came in from the range. I was putting together some range footage for several upcoming productions here on the channel. Yep, I got those knocked out today, but it was a lot of work. So I couldn't resist. I wanted to go ahead and get this one put together for you here today, folks. This one is going to be a lot of fun, especially for you guys that are in my age bracket. This particular pistol here on the table is the focus of today's video. For those of you that are not familiar with what this is a Phoenix Arms HP22 Alpha from the Phoenix Arms Company out of Ontario, California, circa 1999, 2000-ish. That's kind of when these things were really popular. This is an older example of them. I think they still make them. Now, before we go any further, we have to get to our safety, Steve. Muster, show clear here. I've got 2 empty magazines on the table. I do have a box of Remington Golden bullets here, but there's no loose ammunition out here in our workspace. And it's going to stay that way for this portion of the content. There's no reset button on safety, folks. So don't read more into it than there needs to be. We just do this out of an abundance of caution to teach proper shooting etiquette to the younger folks out there that are trying to figure all this out. So what is a Phoenix Arms HP22 Alpha? Well, if you look at it here, it looks kind of like a long-nosed Bersa Thunder's illegitimate child. It's kind of very in the style of the Bersa Thunder, the Walther PPK, that kind of look about it. These became very popular back when I was a young man. In fact, I remember the local True Value hardware store in Tularosa, New Mexico used to sell this very same pistol for, I think it was $99 for the black one and maybe $120 for the stainless steel one. And that was complete with 2 barrels, this 5-inch barrel and then a shorter 3-ish inch barrel, which we have right here, by the way. But regardless, they were very inexpensive, and because they were very inexpensive, young fellas that were into guns saw them and liked them and enjoyed playing with them. Now, thinking back to that same era, video games like Resident Evil were quite popular, and that was kind of a high spot in the zombie craze that kind of went on through a couple of decades ago on up into the Walking Dead series and then so on and so forth. You know, I think it's kind of fizzled out now, but it used to be a thing. People used to talk about when the zombies showed up or the zombie apocalypse. When I was a young feller, my cousin had one of these, and man, we used to go out and kill a bunch of zombies with it out in the desert. We'd shoot beer cans and zombie targets and anything in between. It was a lot of fun. Biggest issue with this particular pistol design is coming from the state of California. It is loaded with safety features that nobody needs. It has so many safety, let me try that in English. It has so many safety features on it that it becomes annoying when you're trying to do anything with it. More on that later, but despite all of the unnecessary added safeties and safeties on top of safeties, I think there's 37 safeties on the pistols, folks. They were a lot of fun to shoot, and they were, for what they were, and as inexpensive as they were, relatively reliable and accurate. So when a buddy of mine told me that he had one of these and he offered to let me review it for the channel here, I jumped at the chance because it took me right down memory lane to back when I was a young fella hanging out in the desert badlands of New Mexico. There's a chicken roaming around out there that does not realize how close she's coming to Sunday dinner. Regardless, I thought I'd have a little fun, so I dug through the vault and I found a zombie pizza delivery guy target earlier. These used to be very popular, I think maybe 10, 12 years ago. You could find them everywhere. I haven't really seen them lately, but I had a few left laying around. So I put one on a piece of cardboard and took it out to the range for the review with this pistol. Let me go run that chicken off. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So the HP22 Alpha is a 10-shot, single-action, hammer-fired, fixed barrel. It wiggles all over the place, but it's a fixed barrel design in that the barrel is not attached to the slide mechanism. The barrel stays up here, the slide, and moves back and forth without it. They're surprisingly accurate. This one was really accurate. Now, I did most of the shooting at the range today with the shorter barrel on there. Due to some weird YouTube rules, I'm not going to show you how to change the barrel on this thing, but suffice it to say, it is not as easy as 1, 2, 3. You see what I did there? Now, if you were watching this video on Rumble, I'd show you step by step how to do that. So you might consider jumping over to our Fed Up J. Lewis page on Rumble. But I did most of the shooting with the pistol with the shorter barrel, and you can see aesthetically it's more pleasing with the shorter barrel. Now that comes with the caveat that all of the range shooting that we did on paper was at about 7 yards with this. And at 7 yards with this little short barrel, I was able to keep groups about that big, which really isn't bad when you're dealing with zombies. We started out with the obligatory pizza box kill. Followed by a skill that if you're going to take out a zombie at close range with a 22 pocket pistol, you need to know how to go for the kneecaps to stop them from chasing you down. Then we swapped back to the longer barrel, and despite its goofy appearance, the group size with the longer barrel went from about like that down to about like that. It really did make a big difference. For target shooting, it was a lot more fun. We took this all the way out to 50 yards, and I was able to ring a 12 by 18 vital size silhouette quite regularly with this when I did my part. But then I decided to do some body armor drills, just in case the zombie target, like the deer around here, was sporting Kevlar. After I shot those drills, I went to go look at the holes, and I was missing one, and I had to slow down the video and watch it a couple of times, and finally I saw where we had a couple of bullets go through the same hole. So repeatedly with the longer barrel, we had several instances where we had rounds going through the same hole, which for what it is pretty impressive. Now I did look on the internet and I found one of these, a range kit that came with both barrels and a cleaning kit and a nice little bag, and it was somewhere in the $275, $280 range. So a significant increase from what it was back in the late 90s. But like everything else, you know, the prices go up, and for what it still isn't a bad price. I've got a Ruger Mark IV target in there that I paid I'm not going to say how much I paid for that, but it was considerably more than what this one runs for. I did have one failure to feed. I don't know what happened, just didn't strip the round out of the magazine. Other than that, it ran completely reliably, and it was a joy to shoot. So now, if there are any of you out there that have one of these, I'd like to hear your stories on it. If you have one and can't figure out how to get it apart, on a separate portion, I'll show you cleaning and disassembly on this. Now, because YouTube has some weird rules, if you're watching the YouTube version, I'll disassemble it for field strip cleaning purpose, but I'm going to reassemble it just like it is. If you're watching the Rumble version, I'll show you how to swap the barrels with that also. But I've carried on long enough now. It's hot out here. If you got something out of this, please let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.